What is a natural hazard disclosures report, and should I have one for my property? Hi, it's Laura Hooks of SoCalLivingwithLaura, a realtor here in Oceanside, California, which is in San Diego County, and I'm here with Marcie Guerrero, a sales director with Property ID, a natural hazards disclosure report company, well, that's a lot to say, in San Diego. Today we are here at Vigilante Coffee in Oceanside, which is located at 1575 South Coast Highway, and if you haven't been here yet, you need to make your way over because you are missing out on a great cup of coffee. So, okay, I am going to put my imaginary agent's hat on and say that a natural hazards disclosure report is a statutory required report to be ordered by a seller in the sale of a property and given to a buyer. The buyer is required to review the information in this report, about 30 pages or more, and sign off that they are satisfied with the information provided and the surrounding hazards that does and could affect the property being purchased. Does that sound about right, Marcie?
That sounds about right. Yes, it does.
Okay. So as an agent, I always suggest ordering the report way ahead of a listing going live on the MLS because there is some really important information that could affect the seller's list price. So Marcie, tell us a little about you and what are your top 3 things people should know about this disclosure report, and what are some of the most important pieces of information a person can glean from the review of the report.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here and talk about Property ID's NHD reports. So Property ID, for my history with Property ID, I've been with the company for about 7 months, but I've been in the real estate industry for about almost 20 years.
Wow.
So I have a good background in this industry. So I have knowledge, from the realtor side, the lender side, and now on the disclosure side.
That's a good wealth of experience because real estate is not just something you can, stay in your lane kind of thing. No, because it encompasses so much, and so having that knowledge is great.
Yeah, I feel like my perspective a lot of times does help realtors. Just things that they didn't think about, even when it has to do with the natural hazard disclosure report, is having that background. So, but I'm super excited that I chose to work with Property ID because one of the most important things is working with a reputable company, reputable NHD company, and Property ID has been in the business for almost 50 years. So we are the father of NHD, and we've been doing it the longest. So it's important to know that you work with a company that does their own research as well. A lot of companies, they have third-party research, or even out of the country, or they just use satellite images. We have, we have our own research department. They've been with the company. When I first started, I was, pleasantly surprised to see a lot of people have been there all 10, 15 years plus. So they know the business, and it's good to work with someone you can actually talk to as well in person when you have questions.
Right.
A lot of these companies, you can only talk to someone online. It's not even maybe a real person. It could be AI. But rest assured, here you get to talk to a real person.
Okay.
And another important thing as far as working with Property ID is you have access to our in-house attorney. So
That's great. That's great.
Your clients have access to call her with any questions on the NHD report. So we encourage you not explain the NHD report. You actually let us explain it. We made the report, so we stand behind the report. Let us explain it. That's our expertise, and it can be complicated, like you said. I mean, it's well over 30 pages.
Yeah.
Right now, the hot topic is the high fire zone, AB 38.
That's right.
So that's, again, like I said, being able to talk to a real person. We have our legal research, and then we just have access to the actual attorney who's been with Property ID for almost 25 years.
Oh, okay.
So I brought some correspondence, but it's probably too much to get into. But just like some complicated questions when it is, in a severe high fire zone in say a state, but not in the local, or vice versa. It's like what precedes what. Those are,
Yeah,
confusing
and they
questions.
still haven't figured all that out yet, which is a little annoying.
Well, I said, but just having the reassurance that you have someone, that's in legal that will advise you on how to proceed is super important. So just, make sure you work with a reputable company that has these tools to offer to you. So that's really important. Also, the ease of reading the report is important. You want to be able to get the information fast. So working with Property ID, we have the one-page NHD report, which is basically, it's almost like a table of contents.
Okay.
So
so you have like a summary that, like the quick glance summary.
Yeah.
And then the other 29 or so odd pages are going to be the explanation of what you just saw on that summary page.
Right, it'll take you right to it. And then, so also with the AB3, we've been disclosing severe high fire zones for almost 10 years before it even became under law. Just this in January, it became law that you have to disclose that.
Right.
So that's one of the things of having the legal aspect behind it. Maylana, our attorney, is always looking for ways to make sure that realtors and buyers are protected.
Right.
So she saw this as, potential. It's like maybe it's not required right now, but you know what? If you were in a high fire zone and you didn't disclose that, even though at the time it wasn't required, they could come back and sue you if it.
No one sues anybody anymore for a real estate transaction.
Right. So that's what I mean by, we have the foresight, real humans that see actual situations and are looking to protect the realtor and the buyers. Yeah. And the seller too, because people can always go after the seller as well.
Right. Well, and the other thing too is, especially just specifically about that high fire zone, is it's good to know that you're in one right now, because knowing that little bit of information means it could be difficult for a buyer to get homeowners insurance, which every buyer's got to have to do that if they're financing a home with a lender.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes people say, well, I'm not in escrow yet, so I'm going to wait to get the NHD report. No, I like what you said earlier. Definitely get it as soon as you have that listing secured. You want to pull the NHD report and see what's going on with the property. Don't make a potential problem a huge problem. If you handle it up front and you have solutions, it becomes seamless. That makes you a good realtor.
That and then you know how you need to negotiate, how you list it or the price you list it at. If you know you're going to have maybe a little negotiation in order for someone to find insurance, maybe that you save a little wiggle room in there on the negotiation part because of the high fire.
And it's important to know that, because if they didn't think they were in a severe high fire zone, they waited till the last minute, and you have to go to the fair plan, and it takes a long time, and you miss your contingency periods. It goes over escrow, or worst case scenario, then you find out what the premium is, and it's a lot higher than you're expecting. Right. And then you fall out of your debt to income ratio. So that's why it's good to know up front. And get quote. And then some insurance people are even advising you can even bind it right away. If it doesn't end up closing, you can get your money back. But just to get the process started, know what your payment's going to be, so your lender can add that to your debt to income ratio.
Right. Okay. Super.
Yeah. Okay. Another important thing, it's not one of the three most important, but it's important, is we're one of the only ones that have the NHD report in multiple languages, with a lot of Spanish speakers in this area. It's important to, you automatically get it in English, but then at the bottom of the report you get a choice to select if you want it in Spanish or in Chinese, so it's always good to offer reports in people's preferred language.
Definitely, yeah. Now, is that, you're nationwide, or are you just local to San Diego or
the NHD
California?
is only required in California.
Oh,
we
okay.
are such a litigious state. But we do, some other states are requesting out of state.
They're starting to see the benefits of providing that. Or eventually they're probably just going to legislate it in. Just like what California did. So, yeah. Okay, so that was going to be one of my questions is this just a California thing, or are other states doing it? So right now it's probably just a California thing. but other states are starting to look in
Right.
and require those to be provided to a buyer. So, okay.
Right. Yes. So we do sell them outside of the state, and people do request them, but it's only required in California.
Okay.
There was something I was going to say, and I just forgot, but that's okay.
Okay. So we kind of went over how you read one of the reports, or maybe you should.
Well, I mean, they're like I said, they're pretty. The content page or the first, the one page NHD will give you, the main point of what that section will be about, and then you can click on it, and then, like you said, it'll take you right to the page, and then you can read, what's going on, and it'll say it's very explanatory, yes or no, like it's in or not in, in these areas. So it's very user friendly. And again, back with the fire reports, one thing that's really helpful. A lot of escrow companies were telling me that people were calling when they were in the high fire zone. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know where to start.
Right.
Our reports don't just have phone numbers, but it has links that take you directly to where you need to go to start the home hardening process in the right jurisdiction.
Okay.
So it'll take you to all the right links before you can get started.
That's great. That's great. And then, of course, I think there's a map page on there. So, and the map actually shows you, or it breaks it down, like the different zones, or like how close you are to one of those zones.
Right,
and
right.
not only high fire, but if you, a flood zone?
Flood zone, earthquake zone.
All of California?
Yeah, no, all of California, or not an earthquake zone, but like near faults. And it just gives you, like you said, the distance between some of those, because in some cases, and it's always a good idea to be careful, when you're speaking to your clients, if you're too close, even if you're not on a fault zone, but you're within a certain, I don't remember the exact distance, but within a certain distance of a fault zone, even if you're not in, it's very difficult to get permits. So be careful when you're saying, oh, you can put an ADU back there, because that might not always be the case. So just be careful.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so it's always, you can say, what I've been hearing people say is, it's big enough. You didn't say if they could, but it is big enough.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't get around it, but I just know you need to be very careful. So,
yeah,
there's things like there's endangered species. That's why you want to see it, and then that might prevent you from, getting permits to get.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah.
So,
okay.
Those are some of the things that talking with our in-house attorney will give you tips on, ways to avoid litigation, because she's there to always guide.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I've worked with other disclosure companies out there, and I don't know of any of them that actually have an attorney on hand that you could talk to regarding any of the information that's in there. So that's pretty good.
Yes.
And a nice thing in your in your pocket to, if your seller or your buyer has any questions about something. We've got somebody who can legally provide advice, because I'm not a lawyer. You're not a lawyer. Right. We really can't answer some of these questions.
Right.
So
like I said, I brought in some correspondence between our attorney and NHD, but that gets too much. She gets very into the minutia, which is important, and it really helps you understand.
Okay.
Again, right now the hot thing was the AB 38, so she's being kept busy with that. And it's always
AB 38 is the fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And again, our forms will tell you, it's very simple to tell you yes or no. And if so, where to go.
Okay. How much does one of these reports cost?
Our reports are $99, and that includes the environmental. Then you also have links where you can get the additional disclosures, a booklet, where you can get the lead paint and the mold and all those additional.
Oh, the hazards booklet thingy.
So you have access to that, and again, it's $99 with the environmental. And your language preference that we offer. And it also has at the bottom of the report, which is good just for your buyers to know what their proposed tax is going to be, what the property tax is. A lot of realtors lenders will just use like the 1.25%, but if you want it, if they're tight and you want to know exactly what their ratios will be, it'll calculate it for you.
Oh, okay. So you put in what the purchase price will be, and okay. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, so
okay.
I'll tell you what you're proposing.
Yeah, I have to go through a whole title thingy.
Yeah, no, you can.
And they give you a little report, and I like to provide that for my buyers. Yeah, it'll tell you, so it'll show all those, because I think Realtor does an okay job with trying to figure out what your taxes will be based on the purchase price. better than they used to be. But they don't. I don't know if they have the data on all the other little, all those tax bonds. Everyone likes to say yes on.
You can, but it's more. You can actually pull the tax record. You can
Right.
pull from the assessor's, county recorder's office and manually calculate it, and then they have the percentage there. But this is useful. It's done
Right.
for you.
Right.
And it's
Nice.
and it's connected to the county,
Okay.
so it does that for you.
Great.
So there is a way. It's just formula, and you have to go and print it out and manually add everything and do the percentage and make sure you don't mess up on your math. We're human, but like I said, that's just an added benefit.
Right. Yeah, that's great. That's great. And you don't have to be selling your house in order to get one of these reports. Anyone can order one for any particular purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I'm trying to think of some other things that are just really important, but I really do think another important thing is to make sure that, and we are the only company that provides a complete set of disclosures. I have seen so many of my competitors. I have a list again, if I could share with you another day, but just disclosures that they leave out, and again that puts you, the realtor, in a precarious situation where you can be sued for non-disclosure lawsuits. So you want to make sure you're disclosing adequately.
Okay.
And we are known for definitely, disclosing all of our reports and correctly. Okay. A lot of them aren't ready with the high fire zone, and they're disclosing incorrectly. I just had that happen last week with one of my competitors, and they only pulled a property ID report because their title rep was referring them to us because we've seen our reports, and the competitor said it was not in a high fire zone. Yet it was. So that's a big deal.
I think anything is a high fire zone anymore.
I know, you'd be surprised even in Carlsbad.
Whether the report says it or not, you should probably do a little mitigation there.
Right.
Well, this is a lot of really great information for our viewers. I appreciate you coming out today, and if you have, if you want to contact Marcie, with any of your questions, I'll have her information down below in the description. So if you or someone you know is looking to buy or sell a property in the Oceanside, San Diego, Temecula areas, I am here to help you with all of your real estate needs. And if you need a realtor in another area of the state or country, I can help you with that as well. Just hop on to www.bysd.com and put in your information. Oh, and by the way, if you are in a hero group, I am a Homes for Heroes specialist. So when you close with me as your realtor, you'll get money back after closing as a thank you for your service. Well, I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching. And remember to remember to stop by Vigilante Coffee if you are in the area, and if you love coffee, you won't regret it. So I think we had their chai lattes with oat milk, and oh my gosh, it's one of the better ones that I've had, and it was so yummy. So if you are a chai lover, you got to try this. So
It was so good. I must say.
So I guess that's it for right now. So I guess we'll say goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great day.